Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith. I'm a silver demonstrator based in the United Kingdom, and today I'm working with the lovely artistically inked stamp set and coordinating dies, which you can see here. So you've got these lovely alcohol ink effect floral images, and then you've got beautiful detailed dies, this sprig here, you've got dies to cut out the various flowers and the leaves, and some great sentiments, some really nice big ones as well. And then I'm using this gorgeous paper. So this paper is absolutely beautiful. It's in the annual catalogue, and you can see on the one side you've got lovely gold foil accented colours, and then on the back you've got these fabulous backgrounds. Look at those. I mean, these are really stunning papers. Absolutely love this one. That's what I'm going to use today. And on the back you'll see here, and again the way they are, I mean, that actually would be perfect for a card front. You just need to put a sentiment in the middle and you're done. Beautiful backgrounds again. Lovely colours too. We've got pale papaya, just jade, magenta madness, mint macaron, pale papaya, pear pizzazz, polished pink and shaded spruce as your colours. Those gold stripes really useful. Again, sort of salt and alcohol backgrounds. So what are we going to make? Okay, so I thought it'd be really nice to do some little table favours. So these would be perfect for little gifts, or for, or as I say, as a table favour. And it's a variation on a box style that I've done before, but really resized to make it just a nice size to go on the table. So you could easily fit a couple of chocolates in there, or if you're doing wedding favours, you could fit sugared almonds in there, and then just a little bit of ribbon closure. And then I've used the flower on the front here, and I've just cut a single sprig out of gold foil that I've then chopped up. So out of these, you could get certainly 3, if not 4 sprigs. In fact, you probably get 4 sprigs out of a single piece. So really quick and easy to do. And I've just used a bit of mint macaron with this one in the background. So I thought we'd go ahead and make one out of polished pink. It is a lovely pink, this one. That's everything falling on the floor. Knock everything over. So I've already done a bit of die cutting, so this is just die cut from gold foil. In terms of the cardstock, I have done the measurements in inches, but I actually want to check them because I've just looked at them and they look as if they're a little bit off. So I will check them and pop them on my blog for those of you who need to work in inches. So in terms of cardstock, I've got a piece which is 10.5 centimetres wide. I'm just cutting that down to 22 centimetres. Okay, you're then going to score on the short edge at 6 centimetres, and then turn it so that section of 6 centimetres at the top, and then score all the way down at 4.5, 10.5, 15, and at 21. Okay, don't put your trim away just yet, because I'm going to do a little bit of trimming, and then we're going to score our diagonals. So you're going to first of all trim away that little skinny rectangle, and I'm just taking a tiny bit off the corner just to help that line up. Then I'm cutting straight up the side of the long ones, and just a tiny notch out on those shorter sections. So again, straight up the side. Like so. Okay. So once you've done that, we're then going to score some diagonals. Now, the reason I've said to keep your trimmer out is because actually you can do this on your trimmer, or most of it. So I'm just lining up, I'm folding up this flap here out of the way, then I'm lining up this corner and this score line. Make sure you keep your cutting blade out of the way. Fold the next large flapper up and do the same again. So again, that is just lining it up in the channel. at the bottom there and at the top. Then we're going to do the opposite diagonals. So again, line up. And then again the same on this section. Then all that's left is you're going to score vertically on these two sections here. And I actually find that easier to do with a ruler because they're kind of in between millimetre measurements. So all I'm going to do is just use my ruler and just gently score up on those two. So I'm just lining it up against the score line, like so. Okay. So once you've done that, the next thing is to really reinforce these scores. And the diagonals. Pop that to one side. So now let's get on with some of our layers and our stamping. So what I've got the lovely floral image and the thank you image as well. And I'm just going to grab just a scrap of basic white and I'm going to use my ink. Now these are distinctive stamps, so they've got the kind of shading already done. You get that lovely texture. And a tip I picked up was using the distinctive stamps so you don't get too much ink on them. If you do ink pad to stamp, and just do it just very lightly. There we go. Look at that, isn't that absolutely stunning? I love that. I love the polished pink, really gorgeous. And rather than the shaded spruce, I wasn't overly happy with that. Perhaps it's because it's oranges. I don't do oranges as much. I just thought I'd use the black. You know, pink and black always look really smart. And just stamp that in the middle there. And that's just memento. Then all that you need to do then is grab the die, and I always, you'll know, I do tend to use a little bit of post-it note tape just to make sure it stays in place, because I use a magnetic sheet on smaller dies particularly. Sometimes it can jump when you put it through your die cut machine, and we certainly don't want that to happen. Okay, so pop that through. And there we have our shape. So really easy. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with and cut some layers to go on the front of our bag. I've got an 8-inch piece of our open weave ribbon. So this is one of the in colour ribbons. So that's available in polished pink. Really lovely stuff colour. Look at that. Really pretty. And the layers you want for these are really small, so you're going to get these out of the scrap of card that you had left. So I'm just going to do 5 point. I won't quite get it out of those actually. So the card, I'm not going to use that at all because that's pink. I'm using need some mint macaron, don't I? Okay, mint macaron. Right. Okay, so, and you want two pieces that are 5.7 square. And this is where it differs very slightly, which is what I wanted to double check. On the centimetres, these sections are square. On the imperial, they're just very slightly rectangular. So I wanted to just double check that I got those right. So 5.7 by 5.7. Now, I'm actually going to do something I don't normally do. I'm only going to partially cut on this. So I'm cutting down at the bottom at 5.5 even, and I'm just going to cut. This is me being really, this is not, I don't normally do this, but I'm just doing some partial cutting. 5.7, 5.5 even. God, my 5s and 7s mixed up today. There we go. Look at that, you see, just to maximise my my card. I'm just going to separate those. Now, if you wanted to be really frugal on this, you could just put a piece on the very front if you wanted to, but I'm going to go whole hog, front and back. So I'm going to add my layers onto a mint macaron. That just gives a little bit of relief, a bit of an edge for the DSP to show up. And it is only sort of, 2 or 3 millimetres, but it does just create a really lovely hint of a border. And because it's nice and pale, it doesn't dominate it too much either. So in terms of working out the front and the back on this, our join is going to go at the back. So this piece here in the middle is our front section. So again, decide which, you need to go right to the edges on those, decide which of your 2 pieces you want on the front, if that's what you're doing. And just pop that in place. Same on the back piece. And again, while it's flat, I just want you to measure the middle point on both of these, so 3 centimetres and about 1 centimetre down. Because what you want to do is punch a hole in that. Now I use quite a narrow punch, but you could obviously use whatever size hole punch you've got, as long as it's big enough for your ribbon. So this is the old Stampin' Up punch. So I'm just going to, and you'll need to push quite hard because those are obviously you're going through DSP and 2 layers of card. Now we can start assembling our box. The last thing we need to do though is to do these vertical creases, and the way I found it easiest was to push it in gently and just make sure that that was creasing well. And the only thing you'll want to do on the very top is actually angle that slightly more than it is, because it's going into this crease here, and otherwise it will just stop your box folding quite as well. So all I've done is just pinching that like so. Now we're ready to fold our box up and add some adhesive on here. So you want something that's really nice and strong. So if you've got Seal Plus, this is a great time to use it. Just so, lining that up. And then with the box front, so again, you remember we decided so the join needs to go at the back. So this is the back here. So what you want to do is fold the 2 side pieces in and put the adhesive on that front edge there. And that way, when your box is on the table, you've got a nice folded edge on the front, not a cut edge. See, that's nice and rather than the join. So there we go. So we're almost there. I'm going to trim my leaves. And to add those, now it's up to you whether you get the sort of little bits out. They will just pop out usually. A good flick with your nail Obviously if you've got a die brush as well, the one that goes on the take your pick, that's really useful for clearing these out. I just happen to have a pin handy. And I'm going to pop that on there, so just put some adhesive just on the back here. Like so, because you want that to pop out on each side. And then if you pop in a couple of dimensionals on the back as well, those will also help keep those leaves in place as well. So while you can still get your hand inside, you want to pop that on the front there. So all that remains is to fold up and thread our ribbon. And I haven't got my big bodkin handy, so I'm just going to have to manage with a bit of assistance from my take your pick, she says optimistically. There we go. So I'm just pushing it through from the front, just folding that over and pushing it through the back. There we go. So it is quite tight because it's quite a narrow hole, but that does mean that when you thread it through and just put that through the loop, that just holds closed. So there we have a pair of pretty like little handbag boxes ready to go on your table, little table favour rather than flavour. Obviously using the beautiful artistically inked DSP and stamp set. Are you team pink or pearl papaya? I have to say, for me it's got to be polished pink, but you know what, maybe the pearl papaya is growing on me too. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me again soon. And if you'd like to purchase any of the products you've seen today, just pop along to my shop or to my blog, and you'll find links to all of them. And if you go on the description bar below this video, there are direct links to both of those available. Thanks for watching. Bye now.